How Disease Travels is a Disney Health for the Americas educational short film. This was released in 1945, and there's actually no information about this on IMDb, so I'm not sure who directed this, but if anybody has any information on that, please feel free to share. And the whole thing is about 10 minutes, and I feel like that's actually a pretty good length for this. It is talking about, well, how disease travels. And we have our protagonist who becomes unwell, and we are given some tips on how he can prevent it from spreading and how he can look after himself. And what's really interesting about this is that I feel like a lot of it is still relevant today. A lot of the Health for the Americas installments are a little outdated. That's largely because a lot of them focus on food and nutrition and diet, and recommendations today are not what they were in the 40s, this being released in 45. But when it comes to disease, it's still pretty factually accurate, and I think they did a pretty good job of making it seem quite scary, to be honest. They definitely made it seem quite scary, which I think is a good thing. And the animation is not too bad. It's the usual style that we get with the Health for the Americas. We have various people, including our protagonist, who is working outside, and then he has to spend time away from other people because he is unwell from the disease. And as I said, there are plenty of great tips in this, such as covering your mouth when you cough. Again, all things that are really applicable today. So I feel like even though the diseases themselves can obviously change, and we've develop medications and vaccines to help protect against them, the basic concept is still always, I imagine, always going to be the same. I think they really did a good job of showing that there are steps you can take, precautions to reduce the spread of disease. And I also think it's pretty informative on how disease spreads and how it travels in general. How Disease Travels is a pretty decent Health for the Americas. It's not as engaging as some, and I actually feel like the ones that are outdated are more entertaining if you're watching it for entertainment purposes, because it's really fascinating to see the differences and how things change over the course of almost 80 years. But that being said, I still enjoyed it. If you like the Disney Health for the Americas series, I'd say How Disease Travels is worth watching. It's pretty interesting, very well done, well narrated. I don't know who narrates it, but it is well narrated, and the animation is pretty decent as well, so no complaints from me. Health for the Americas, How Disease Travels was definitely pretty decent.